always laughing, and I pray that I can have her attitude towards sadhana and to always live in the mahima of Kakaji like she does. She's she remembers Kakaji every day. She still writes down prasangs. She she keeps that glory alive by through on a daily basis. Happy birthday to Pankaj Uncle. Pankaj Uncle and Hershanti have been huge pillars of support for me personally. I know that there's quite a few people in this room that can also say that. And I really appreciate how they always have open doors for anything satsang related. And they always focus on Dinkar Uncle's Mahima. I'm also really grateful for his daily dedication in the morning Sabha. So happy birthday to Pankaj Uncle. And an early happy birthday to Formben, near big sister, who's in Powai. And I also greatly appreciate how she lives and breathes satsang all the time. Um, Her activities are generally work or satsang. So happy birthday to her. Um, and now to celebrate Kakaji. So we're still in the June month, and this is our lucky year, the centenary, and I've been thinking a lot about his legacy. And since I have not met Kakaji personally, I focus on what he has given to us. And, that is so much. It is so many things, so much that he has given to us that, but when Sruhat Bhai was talking last week, he was going through kind of the main prasangs, and then I felt, the one thing that really struck me then was when, Kakaji and Papaji from a very young age said they wanted to bring heaven to earth. And, I understand that, right? Highest heaven, the abode of God, is Akshardham. So when I think about how they brought Akshardham to earth, I feel they literally did this in so many ways. For starters, Kakaji literally went to Akshardham. He had his sakshatkar then, his soul traveled, through Akshardham, and there he saw Bapa, he saw Swamiran Bhagwan, and he came back and he told us all about it. He described it in detail, and he came back and he told everyone the big secret, that Bapa was one with Swamiran Bhagwan. And, before that, very few people had kind of recognized Bapa in that way. But because of Kakaji, people started realizing that, that Yogi Bapa is truly extraordinary. And because, Kakaji could not stop talking about it. And people were literally thinking that he was going crazy. But now we have a very real description of what Akshardham is like. So to me, that's a very kind of real and literal sense of which he gave us Akshardham. Another way is that in our Akshar Purushottam philosophy, and this is how I understand it, so forgive me if there's some holes here, but I understand Akshardham is, right, the highest abode where Swamiran Bhagwan lives. We also understand Akshardham is manifest, and that Gunatitan and Swami is the embodiment of Akshardham on earth. And, one of Baba's things was that we should all embody Swamiran Bhagwan in our hearts, so then we can become Aksharup and, therefore like our own version, right, of Akshardham. So how could we do that in this day and age, in the modern time? In the old days, right, you finish your stages of life, and then you go and the rishis go and go to the forest, and then they meditate, and if you're lucky to live thousands of years, maybe you can attain a small slice of that. But Kakaji showed us. He showed us how to live with God and Guru in our hearts and our actions, how to keep God and Guru as the focus and as our motivation and as our inspiration in every moment. And he did that as a successful businessman. And I feel like you have to be incredibly extraordinary to keep talking about someone 100 years later. We're not talking about one occasion, right? It's not like, oh, it's the Declaration of Independence was signed, that was 200 years ago, that is so great. We're not talking about, it is great, but I'm saying it's not one event. It's not one kind of like invention where, hey, he discovered electricity. How great. His every action, his every word, his every, everything that he did, we are still talking about it. I mean, people that were very close to him are still analyzing it. He is, he is just really, flowing with so much of, God inspired everything, magnanimity. So I feel like, he had to be extraordinary. And he was a very modern man that represented or that kept God and Guru at the center of everything. And that's what made him so remarkable. And it's not like we didn't have that kind of example before, right, of having God and Guru as the center of our actions. We had Gunatitanand Swami, obviously. We had Bhagaji Maharaj. We have Jaga Swami. We have, a whole lineage of people, of Swarups, excuse me. But what Kakaji did, he was very different because it's so modern, and it was something that in this day and age, we can relate to. We can look at that and we can take some of that away. To have a successful business and throw all that away, to throw away Maya in a heartbeat, that's something that we can see and understand and take that as an inspiration for us. To fulfill Bapa's Agnya, that's something that we can understand. And again, take that as an inspiration for our own. To show us how to live in Akshardham, even when he was abused, he was, kicked out, spat upon, all of that, he showed us how to do that. And again, there were others before that showed us that. But to do it in this day and age, when, our values and priorities are, I'm assuming, are different, he showed us how to do that. He gave us something that we can relate to, and he gave us a life that we can reflect upon our own. One other thing that Kakaji did, in which, he showed us about Akshardham was, not only did he have Bhagwan and Bapa residing in his heart, but he taught others how to embody, God and Guru as well. He supported so many of, at that time, those youths to take Diksha. And they did it out of pure love. If you read any of this stuff or if you hear them talk about it, all of our Swarups now, they say, well, I didn't really think that this is what I was going to do. But I couldn't say no to Bapa. When Baba asked, when Kakaji asked, I had to say yes. They did that out of love. Back in Swami and Bhagwan's days, it was, to be a sadhu was very difficult. There was, sometimes it was an option because maybe there was no other option for you to have a living and to have a life. There was a famine at that time, so maybe, people were turning towards to becoming a sadhu for a guaranteed place of stay and hopefully some food and clothes and stuff, because that is also one of Bhagwan's boons for us. But in Kakaji's time, at that time, people didn't have those issues. Educated people, for sure, did not have to deal with that kind of problems most of the time, right? But for them to still turn around and say, yes, I will do this, because they couldn't say no. Kakaji is the one that really brought out that love for them. He was the one that inspired all of that. And, I just feel that his guidance really set them all on a path of having these Gunatit saints, becoming Brahmarup and teaching them all how to be an ideal devotee. So therefore, right now, our Swarups are our embodiments of Akshardham for us. Kakaji also, a fourth thing he did was he made Akshardham very accessible. We all know he was really smart. And for me, his level of English, for me, is still really hard to grasp. It is very hard. I feel Papaji's writings are very straightforward, but Kakaji's level is completely different. But if that is still him simplifying everything, the road to Akshardham is lifetimes and lifetimes long. So if he took that and he broke it down into a few simple techniques to guarantee us entry, and I feel, wow, how lucky am I to be here now? Because we can, now we can become Brahmarup through night prayer, 4-point program, Swarup Yoga, open prayer, so many techniques that he gave us. And again, when I think back to how this used to be done, you know, so even in Swamir Bhagwan's time, so much fasting, so many niyams, all that, dharna, parna, chandra, and whatever, all that, this is really a truly amazing gift. And this is something that everybody can do. These are techniques, small children can do, and it kind of gives us an equal opportunity entry to Akshardham. So for that, I feel, very, very lucky. I mean, it's just amazing that when I think that this is all we have to do. 4-point program. You read something, you do something, you say something, you watch something. I mean, it's so easy now. And to think, all we have to do is grasp one of those and take that all the way is, again, amazing. That's how we're going to become Brahmarup, or that's how we are Brahmarup. And another thing is he also surrounded us with Akshardhams. All those 51, the sadhus, the benos, everybody back then who took their diksha, they're now our Gunatit Swarups. And they are everywhere. Gunatit Samaj literally has, hundreds of mandals all over the world, thousands of devotees. And so he literally brought us Akshardham all over the world. We have 2 Akshardhams in Delhi now. I mean, we have it everywhere. And it's amazing to think, 2 boys talking about this on a balcony in Nadia, and now we are here in Chicago, and we have Akshardham here. He came here, and he gave us Dinkar Uncle. And, Dinkar Uncle is surely an embodiment of God and Guru. And when I think about that myself, I think about, what are the chances that I came from Louisiana and I had any chance of even knowing or getting to Akshardham. But Kakaji made sure, again, that everybody, all of us, had a roadway, a path, an opportunity to get to Akshardham, to experience Akshardham, to see it, to live in it. And I am ever so grateful for the path that led me here, and because of that, I'm able to enjoy Akshardham here in Chicago. And so I pray that with Akshardham being so near, that I stay focused and keep God and Guru in the center. And my prayer is really that, to have that Surat that Kakaji mentioned for all of us, not my definition, but, Kakaji's definition, with God at the center of the actions for all of us, and to understand and believe that all devotees here are chosen and special, and to live in their mahima, that we are all here together in the Akshardham as Kakaji and Papaji gave us. Sajanand Swamarajni Jai.
एंजीबेन ने और एंजीबेन ने 2 बात बताई कि काकाजी वॉज काकाजी मॉडर्न गुरु थे. एक बहुत अच्छी पुस्तक लिखी है कि गुरुज ऑफ मॉडर्न योगा, उसमें हमारे अक्षर पुरुषोत्तम की भी बात आती है. तो ऑथर बोलते हैं कि पहले के जो भी कुछ हुआ, 2 टाइप के डिवोटीज होते हैं, मुक्ता होते हैं. एक विदेही मुक्ता और एक जीवन मुक्ता. विदेही मुक्ता यानी जो मर के चल बसे, फिर अक्षरधाम में जाना है, स्वर्ग में जाना है, वैसी बात करते हैं. और अक्षर पुरुषोत्तम संप्रदाय